Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back at Knott's Berry Farm. There's just something about this place that I cannot get enough of. And I think after all these years, I know exactly what it is. It's the history, the American dream success story. The idea that one determined farmer and his family turned their small berry farm by the side of the road into all of this. Think about it, it's absolutely mind-blowing. From a small farm to a successful restaurant, and then building your own full-fledged old western ghost town, both to entertain and educate guests about the old times, the way it used to be. One of the things that's very different about Knott's Berry Farm is that it took a long time to build this place. After all, they started farming here in the 1920s. They didn't start serving those delicious chicken dinners until the 1930s. And then it wasn't until the 1940s, year after year, that ghost towns started coming together. And it was all done building by building by building. Walter Knott was very passionate about the Old West, and he was a stickler for accuracy. Not only did they move some entire historic buildings out here to the farm, but even when they built their own buildings out here, they took trip after trip into the Old West, gathering up building materials from real old buildings and incorporated thousands of Old West artifacts into the farm to make it even more realistic. By the end of the 1940s, for the time, this had become possibly the world's most accurate replica of an Old West ghost town. They had everything: the rooming house, the sheriff's office, the barber shop, the laundromat, a print shop, a saloon, an old gold mine, the old-fashioned hotel, a working town pump, and a working and fully functional blacksmith shop, a working livery stable, a schoolhouse, even their own graveyard. Talk about authenticity. Ugh. There were also all kinds of Western characters roaming the streets out here, including a couple of old prospectors and their mules. And around the outskirts of the farm, even the old stagecoach ride. Yes, sir, by 1950, they had pretty much everything any old Western town would have. But even after 10 years of construction, he wasn't ready to slow down. He wanted to keep expanding, and just like the real towns in the Old West, Walter Knott knew that every serious Western town eventually had to get one thing. The one and only thing that his town was missing. A full-size, fully operational railroad. This was it. This is what Ghost Town was missing. A fully armed and operational railroad. But how the heck do you get your hands on a railroad and bring it to your berry farm? Well, it turns out that Walter Knott was building his ghost town at just the right time. Call it fate, call it destiny, but just as Walter Knott's ghost town was becoming more successful and finally bringing in a little cash, you know, it was just around that time that the old steam locomotives were all being replaced by diesel, and passenger traffic on the old railroads had been slowly but steadily being replaced by automobile traffic. So in 1951, when Walter Knott heard that the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad was starting to sell off some of their old stock cheap too, Walter Knott loaded up his family for a trip to Colorado and bought his first steam locomotive. After having the locomotive shipped out here for the phenomenal cost of $25,000, the Knott family started laying track all around the farm. And on January 12th, 1952, the Ghost Town and Calico Railroad was born. Remember, this is 1952. This is years before Disneyland opened. Having your own themed ghost town and your own steam locomotive on your very own operational railroad, this was groundbreaking stuff. And for more than 65 years, this incredible railroad has been chugging around the farm, bringing us all even closer to the Old West. Look behind me. That is the original locomotive that Walter Knott purchased. The old Rio Grande Southern number 41, an actual working locomotive that was a little bit remodeled when it came to Knott's Berry Farm, where it was repainted and renamed the Red Cliff. It had some Hollywood touches put in back then, like the diamond stack on top and the old colorful cow catcher in the front from the movies. But it was a real working, narrow gauge steam locomotive pulling guests around the farm. And it was an instant smash hit, not just with guests, but also with Walter Knott himself, who quickly went back to purchase even even more rolling stock for his railroad, and another locomotive renamed the Gold Nugget. And now, every 20 minutes or so for the last 65 years, people have been able to enjoy a round trip on the Ghost Town and Calico Railroad around the wonderful sights, sounds, and smells of Knott's Berry Farm. This is a massively important piece of theme park history, not just for Knott's Berry Farm, but also because Walter Knott's train inspired another Walter to build a local steam railroad. Oh, that's right, I'm talking about Walt Disney, who just 3 short years later would open up his own narrow gauge railroad just a couple of miles away in Anaheim. Nowadays, every theme park has got to have its train, but there was nothing remotely close to this down here in Orange County before Walter Knott decided that his ghost town, which was already epic to visit, was going to get the ultimate Old West upgrade in the form of the Ghost Town and Calico Railway. Now I gotta tell you guys, I love Knott's Berry Farm history and I love looking at old steam locomotives, but I am by no means a train expert. I fully admit that I don't know very much about the way steam locomotives operate or how they work or all the crazy history behind the various railways in the United States, but I was telling the engineers here how I would love to learn more about the steam locomotives at Knott's Berry Farm when something really cool happened. Instead of just asking me to climb aboard for a ride on the train, the engineers went to their higher up and got us very special permission to come back to Knott's Berry Farm tomorrow when it's not full of guests, before the park is open, when nobody else is around, to learn a little bit more about this historic steam railroad, how it works and how they keep it running, and maybe, just maybe, if we're good, sit up front in the locomotive and drive the train. It's gonna be loud, it's gonna be hot and greasy and steamy, but this could be the coolest thing we've ever done. There's just one very big catch. We've got to come back here at 5 o'clock in the morning. But this is way too cool of an opportunity to mess up, so I've got to try to go to sleep now. I'll see you guys in the morning. Oh man, now that is something I do not see every day. Look at this. Oh, this isn't 5:30 in the morning. This is 5:30 at night still. Wow. Knott's Berry Farm at 5 in the morning. Oh boy. There's not many things I would get up this early for, but we got a train to catch. Oh, dude, this is so weird. No one's here except for my amigo, Fake Tyler. We gotta go through the employee entrance. Can't show you guys this part. See you in a second. All right, we've come through the super secret entrance, through an empty Knott's Berry Farm, and back to the roundhouse, where the Ghost Town and Calico Railroad crew are getting ready to light up the boiler of the Walter K. This is my buddy Travis right here, an engineer on the railroad, and we're getting ready to what? Light up the boiler? Light off. I cannot wait.
Pretend they just rub 2 sticks together.
All right, here we go. Look at that. It all starts with actual fire. Whoa. I don't know why I backed up like that. I was scared. Whoa, there it is. Look at this. They're about to light up the boiler. Whoa! And so it begins! Fire! Okay, so now how long does that take to heat up and make steam?
So if coming on a normal morning, it'll take about 4 or 5 hours. If the boiler's totally cold, it'll take more like 8 or 10 if we're being nice to it.
But last night you guys had someone here all night, right? Keeping it warm, keeping it toasty, just for us?
We're almost ready to go here, yeah.
Yes! Alright, they're looking at the pressure gauges, waiting for there to be enough steam pressure to run this bad boy. Or is it a bad girl?
Bad girl.
Bad girl! Ooh! The Walter K is a lady Walter. Wow, look at this. The sun's not even up, and they're here heating up 2,500 gallons of water. All right, Travis, tell us about this engine. When was this built?
So this is number 41. She's built in 1881 by the Baldwin Locomotive Works in Philadelphia. She's a 3-foot narrow gauge locomotive built to run through the Rockies, haul heavy freight. That means she runs on 3-foot tracks. She can do those tight corners and steep grades and get all the freight up there.
So that means she can't run on normal railroad tracks that like commuters take, right?
So she runs on 3-foot narrow gauge, which is the same gauge that Disneyland Railroad runs on. The only difference is when Walt Disney built his railroad, he wanted it to be in scale with his town and Main Street, which is smaller than normal. So he built his railroad at 5/8 scale, the number 1 and number 2. They run on the same rails, but that because they're 5/8 scale, they're much smaller than this one. Fully loaded, this train weighs as much as all 5 of the Walt Disney or the Disney World locomotives.
Dude, this thing is a beast. Knott's Berry Farm is not playing around. This isn't a Lionel train set. This thing is running on fire. Dude, this is amazing. Look at these guys lovingly rubbing down the engine, taking care of it, keeping it clean, keeping it operating. At Knott's Berry Farm, the guys who drive the train are the same guys who are working on the trains, keeping them running. Now remember, this thing was built in 1881, so it requires a lot of maintenance to keep it going. This thing used to burn coal, is that right, Travis?
Correct.
What's it burning now?
Burning oil.
It's burning
number 2 diesel.
Oil, diesel fuel, but it's still heating up water and making steam to run on. Right now, they're switching it to diesel right now, right?
Right, so what Brett's doing is turning on some of our steam appliances, the atomizer and the blower, to basically make it able to burn diesel. And then once he's ready, we'll put her on diesel and you can watch the fires blow out. That's fancy talk for big fire get bigger. Whoa! Look at the size of that fire! All right, this takes kind of a long time, but right now all that water is being heated up in the boiler. It's turning into steam, going up into the steam dome. Eventually, there'll be steam down there in those pistons, moving these crazy wheels. Well, what are these, Travis? What is that? Those are steam-driven air compressors, so they pressurize air so we can use it in our air brakes and stop the train.
Oh, look at this. Things are starting to happen out here. I see steam. I see steam. Here he goes. Here's Travis here, starting up the air compressors that run the brakes. I hope I'm getting that right. Travis has to be very technical over here, you know, because railroad enthusiasts are very technical people. But like I already said yesterday, I don't know that much about trains, so I'm sorry. I apologize if I dumb this down a little. Oh, we've got hissing. Oh, that's where that sound comes from. Dude, look at that. That is not a toy. That is some serious machinery over there. It's at this time I should probably warn you. There's gonna be a lot of hissing steam noises today. There's not much that I can do about it with my limited technology, so I apologize in advance for the noise, but come on, this is a real live steam engine here. These things are dangerous. You got fire in there, burning fuel, a highly pressurized steam, giant moving parts. Dude, you guys are brave, dude.
We like to think so.
This is like some scary, dangerous work over here.
You have to love it.
Whew. All right, there's a lot more light in the sky now. Travis is issuing us some safety equipment. We've got some gloves here. Oh, they've been working on this for hours now. It takes a lot of work to get these things going. But I think we're almost ready to climb aboard and go fuel this bad boy up. All right, here we go. This is weird. We are on board a fully armed and operational.
The train's about to leave the station, Justin.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention right now is that everything in here is boiling hot. Oh my gosh, the heat is so intense. Apparently, if we touch the wrong spots on this train, we can melt our skin off. So I'm gonna try to be careful. All right, we're inside the cab. Oh my gosh, look at this. We're backing up the train. Dude, this is out of control. These guys do this every single day. Holy boysenberry, where the heck are we? As you can see, these trains were not built for a lot of people to stand up front. You got your fireman over there. You got your engineer over here. Your stowaway back here out the back door. And one huge, gigantic boiler. Dude, so many gauges and hissing and hot things. Oh my God. They've just backed up quickly over here to make sure they've topped this thing off with fuel. All right, so they're fueling it up. All right, we've just got to back up just a little bit further now so they can do their blow down. Basically, they're hooking the boiler up to a pump and they're going to blow out anything that collects in the bottom of the boiler, all the nasty stuff. And remember, these guys were working for hours before we got here, so it takes a lot of work to operate a steam locomotive. The fireman Brett right there is about to blow out all the excess stuff out of that boiler. Most of it's going into an underground tank so they don't shoot it out into traffic out there. Just the street's just on the other side of the engine. Oh, and he climbed up. Here he goes. Whoa! Whoa, watch out, Tyler. Whoa, dude. That's gnarly. Dude, look at that. That is crazy. Wow, man. Wow. Whoa. This thing's puffing all over the place. The Walter K is a puffing maniac. Okay, they've blown out all the gunk, and now we're gonna take a little ride on the back of the tender. This is where they keep all the water and the fuel. All right, here we go. Backing up, making our way out to Ghost Town. Tyler, this might be the coolest thing we've ever done.
I definitely
together as friends.
Yes.
Look at this. Here we are. We have no business being here at all.
No, not even a little bit.
All right. This is crazy. Whistling at all the crossings, doing all the due diligence. This is crazy because it's really a lost art. Think about it. People were doing this 100 years ago. Wow, look at this. We're about to go over the trestle bridge behind Boot Hill in Knott's Berry Farm. This is a very rare, very unusual view of the little gulch back here. Needless to say, this is a different view of Ghost Town than I've ever had before. I love the smell of the western graveyard in the morning. Oh, here we go. All the way into Calico Square. Slams for all your mining supplies. Right, they've opened up the gates here. And this is the part where they're gonna back up the train and couple it up to the cars. Up, here it comes. Gently. Gently. They're doing all the hand signals back here. They gotta do this very, very gingerly. Oh man. Oh man, look at that.
You're going in, they'll signal you. First thing you want to do is hook up the chain, your safety chain. If it were to ever uncouple, the train wouldn't, you wouldn't lose your train. This is your airline.
Oh, that's for the brakes?
Yeah, it's just so the whole train gets brakes. Ooh. Couple that in there. Make sure it's nice and snug. You want to hit your audio so that the train has lights in the nighttime. The airline right here, and then you want to feed the whole train with air, so you're going to want to open this and open this, and now the whole train has brakes.
That takes a lot more work than my Christmas train at home. You just push those things together. You guys should invest in that technology.
It'd be easier for us.
Yeah. Dude, that is so much more work than you'd ever think that it would be. And before we even got here, they had to inspect every nut and bolt of every coach back here. This work is intense, man. Not only is it hot and sweaty and dangerous, but you guys have a long checklist of stuff to do, man. Crazy. Oh yeah, the rest of the park may still be asleep, but the Ghost Town and Calico Railway is almost ready to roll. Another thing that sets Knott's Berry Farm's train apart from any others is the fact that the coaches are actually historic rolling stock as well. Not only did the Knott family get a bargain on the locomotives, but they also managed to grab these coaches here, all of which actually ran on the old-timey steam railroads. All right, now it's time to put a little more water on board the train. Look at that. That is gnarly. So this thing runs on water? Unfortunately, no! Anything with a little more kick. Plutonium!
What movie is that from?
Dude, look at that, man. This is crazy. What are you dropping in there? Turpentine?
Putting in some water softeners.
Oh, water softeners. Look at this thing. Travis just told me this holds 2,500 gallons of water. Check this out. We are on top of the tender. I feel like I'm in an old Western movie. I'm going to run down the train real quick. We're going to chase the bandits down along the roof of the coaches. This is going to be sweet. Hey, just to clarify, I'm not allowed to run down the back of the train while it's moving.
Probably a bad idea.
Darn it. Well, we gotta save something for the bucket list, I guess. All right, after we're done adding a little more water to this bad boy, we're gonna go around the park.
Now I'm gonna teach you how to throttle.
I'm pretty sure that means drive. We gotta hop up inside of this bad boy. Okay.
All right, so this is our brake stand. What it is right now is release. It's run release. If you want to apply the brake, you pull it up to that spot. Then back off just a little bit to that notch. If you ever need to stop for any reason really fast, just throw it all the way this way. That's what we call big hole. That's our emergency stop. This is the Johnson bar. It's basically like your gear shifter on the locomotive. You got forward, throw it all the way back to reverse, and in the middle we call it centered. It's not neutral because it doesn't just roll anywhere you want it to like the car, but it's locked up centered.
What you guys can't see in between these clips is Travis is actually teaching me how to operate this locomotive.
Going forward, you want to put the Johnson ball all the way forward. Okay. That'll give us the more power to take off. And then we're going to check that it's all clear and open up the throttle.
Okay, I know what a throttle is.
Clear on your side?
We're in good shape. And there's Brett over there, the fireman. He's making sure the steam pressure stays at 150. And he's making sure that we don't explode up here, which is nice.
That's the important job. So when we take off out of the depot, we're actually going uphill. So keep the Johnson bar all the way forward so we have as much pulling power as possible. Once you get up to the trestle here, it's going to level out. You can start notching it back, kind of like shifting up on your car.
Okay. Tyler, just remember, don't throw Mama from the train.
Okay.
Okay. I cannot believe in a little while they're gonna let me drive this thing. Hopefully they're not making a massive mistake. This is definitely not kiddie stuff. This is a real live large steam locomotive. Completed the loop. This is it. It's gonna be go time. All right, we've come to a stop. There's no backing out now. They actually expect me to drive this. Now I'm not allowed to hold the camera and operate the train at the same time. You know, safety reasons and all of that. We are mounting up a GoPro in there. So I don't know what this will sound like, but it should look awesome.
How loud this thing? All the way? All the way. Okay, alright, what you're going to do, you do 2 whistles, and then just slowly open the throttle a little bit. Loud one. Okay, the same. Alright, go ahead and pull on the throttle a little bit. You got to yank it a little bit more. Give it one good touch. Alright.
It's moving!
Stop the train. And brake. Brake the fine as they are. Okay.
It's moving! It's moving! Runaway freight train!
Go ahead and pull that handle back.
This one? That?
That one. Okay. Here we go.
You got the brake, right? Like it's Stacy.
I got this one.
Okay. This is all I do right now?
Yep.
It drives itself!
No hands, huh?
You get baby in this? This is sick! Wow! There! Yeah, dude. This is freaking cool. Wait till my mom hears about this!
So I push back push forward on the throttle just a little bit, okay? Yeah, just push towards you a little bit more again. Okay.
It's so weird. Does it react like so slowly, you know?
Alright, one long and one short whistle. Okay. Like that? Okay. Or it should be longer next time. No, that's good. Okay. We're going around here. You gotta keep your nose standing on the capture on the corner. Okay.
That whistle's so loud. Whoa.
What's your train? Right here, you're over the wheel.
So brake on is this way, right? Yeah. Like there's an old lady on the track. So like, oh! Yeah.
Alright. So once you can see this red and white cake, do a long, long, short, long. Okay.
So when it's up?
Yep. Alright, go ahead.
Yes!
Alright, go back on the throttle a little more. It's really sensitive, like it's crazy. For how long? Open her up. That's freaking crazy, dude. Watching that. Back up a little bit. You open it up. It's like, yeah, you guys must really have this memorized. Like, yeah, right, open up a little. Just right here and stuff. Okay. Get a little here. Yeah? Alright, we're going to speak on this. Okay. Woo! I have no idea what I'm doing, guys! That's alright. Woo! Yeah. Look at that, dude! Look forward! So wait, so now it's my job to look forward and make sure no one's not going to Yep. Oh, no pressure though. Okay. Thanks, dude. That's pretty sick. So normally you would have keep this all the way over, right? Like maybe you always go through a little more, but it's not too big a deal on the queue. But when we get up there to stop, we gotta go back. Before the break or after? After. Once we've already stopped. Okay. If you didn't, I would be like throwing your car into the reverse. Yeah. Gotcha. Alright, so we're gonna go uphill now, so open up the throttle a little bit more. Long? So much personality in it. Definitely crazy, dude. That's going really fast. We're going so fast! Back at what you're pulling. Huh? That's insane. I told you. I didn't see the Kenny K back here. Alright, so you're going to be doing another crossing with a long, short, long? Okay. I'll tell you when. Okay. You go ahead and blow it. experiences. It's tough to get people. Oh, this is bad, dude. Thanks, Snoopy, for me. This is crazy. Right now, what? Oh, no, it's a foot out. You know, let's just stay off the train. Make it simple. Put it up to the throttle just a little bit. Now we're on that, and open it to speed pressure, so we can see speed coming out. Unlimited power! Hard work, kid. Yeah. Try to do it 10 times like me. Alright, one whistle. Pull your nose bar back to center. Like that, you just build a train. I did it! I drove a train! Top of the world, Mom! Top of the world! Bravo! Woo.
Holy cow, dude. Holy moly. I did it. I did it. That's it, dude. That's the high point. Nothing else will ever match that thrill. I feel like I'm partially deaf now. Those whistles are loud. But dude, that was totally worth it. That was awesome. Now they're taking my train away. I'll never be as powerful as I just was. But they're taking the big steam engine away because Travis has something else for us to play with. The funkiest train in the fleet, the Galloping Goose. Look at this thing. Isn't this the funniest thing you've ever seen? Check this bad boy out. If the front of this thing looks a little bit like a bus to you, that's because part of it was actually built with an old bus cab when it wasn't economically feasible to be driving these things up and down the Rockies during the Great Depression. They came up with something with basically a truck engine inside to ferry men and material around the mountains so they wouldn't have to pull the full-size locomotive. These came from the same railway as the steam locomotives they have at Knott's Berry Farm. There were only ever 7 Galloping Geese, 7 in the whole flock, and Knott's Berry Farm has got the only one that ever left Colorado. So let's climb aboard the bus. Let old Travis take us for a spin. Look at that. Still got to follow all the same rules as operating a normal locomotive. Same whistles and everything, but this is far from a normal locomotive.
This thing was built in December of 1931. This is the number 3 Goose, so they had the first 2 geese that were made first. They were shorter. This is the first 3-truck goose. The first one to get the name Galloping Goose for the way it waddles down the track and the squawk of its horn.
What kind of work were these originally built for?
So these were built during the Depression when it became too expensive to run the steam locomotives for the small amount of freight the Rio Grande Southern was getting. One of their main money makers was a contract with the U.S. Postal Service, so they just made these vehicles that were capable of hauling a lot of mail and a couple passengers, and that was way cheaper than the steam locomotives.
Hear that, Tyler? Us poor passengers gotta take the cheap locomotive. This is so weird being in here before anyone else. All right, coming up on the old trestle bridge here. Oh man, we made it over the bridge. Hey, check this out. Look inside the sheriff's station. Whoa! There's a dude in there. This is very different. I mean, the last train we were driving was 150 tons. How heavy is the Goose?
14,000 pounds, 7 tons.
7 versus 150. I can't do the math on that percentage-wise, but I'm sure one of you can. This is so weird. This thing is a stick shift. It's got an automobile motor in it. Look at that. There's a clutch pedal down there, just like driving a bus. Dude, this is wild. Travis was just telling us how one year the snowplow broke down, the tracks were covered with snow, so the mail was delivered by truck. So basically the Postal Service figured, wait a minute, why do we have a contract with the railroad? And that was the end of the Galloping Goose, more or less. And this, more or less, is the end of our Galloping Goose ride.
There you go.
Dude, how awesome is that? Originally, this thing was just brought here for decoration, more or less, and they didn't start using it for guests of the park until the 70s. Every once in a while now, I'll come to Knott's Berry Farm on a slow day, and when I see the Galloping Goose come around the corner, I get freaking stoked. All right, that's gonna be a t-shirt right there. The goose is on the loose. All right, we've checked out the trains. Now it's time for us to check out some other stuff. Don't forget, they don't just have locomotives and galloping geese here. They've also got plenty of rolling stock, and two cars in particular are very special. This is something most people never get to do, but we're about to climb aboard the Durango. Luckily, our engineer friend here has got the keys. Whoa. Wow. Look at the luxury.
This coach Durango was built in 1880. She was built as a standard coach and then converted for this parlor fancy coach over here a bit later on. So you could entertain your guests, have a nice party, have your own private car on the train.
Oh, I like this. Wow, look at how fancy this is on the inside. 1920s fancy mixed with 1800s carriage fancy.
This is 1880. It was built alongside the Chama, which has been converted to that combine car that you see running in the train. Except this one was kept as a luxurious parlor.
Dude, look at this. There's actually restrooms on board this train car. And a freaking kitchen. What you cooking for us, Travis?
Ice cream and nothing.
Ice cream and nothing. Wow.
First you got ice cream freezer, running hot cold water.
Dude, this is awesome. They used to have dinner trains, you were saying? Yep. And then they cook here on the train? Here. No way. Check this out. There's even a peephole window from the kitchen. You can spy on your fake Tylers. Hey, dude. Hey. What you been doing? Just kidding, I know exactly what you were doing.
You're a peeping Tom.
Ha ha ha. Peeping is okay here. Just no spitting on the railway. All right, we are now going to travel between coaches and head over to the Edna, but not before we get a sick view of number 41 headed back this way. Did you miss that noise? I did. That lady looks like she's up to no good. What was she doing standing out there? Well, anyways, into the Edna, into the Edna. Whoa, look at this. The Edna looks mighty fine. Look at this, this is incredible. This is epic. It's like a real old-timey train car. Look at, there's a bed in here, a toilet. Look at that old-timey sink. Wow, this is blowing my mind. I had no idea there was anything like this here. And check it out, it just keeps on going. Look at this old water tank, and look at this old kitchen, huh? Now that is not a 1940s kitchen. Someone's in the kitchen with diners, strumming on the old banjo. Look at this old stove in here. You got all your old appliances. There's a good reason why this looks like a real train car. It's because it is a real old train car.
This was the president of the Rio Grande Southern's rail car he purchased in 1890, although it was built in 1880 for the Denver Rio Grande. It was his private car, so whenever he wanted to go do his business, he'd go off and show his guests a good time. You have your kitchen in here. You have this pull-down bed, so
Whoa.
cook breakfast without even getting out of bed.
So if I'm the chef on the president's private railroad car, oh, I like poking you like that. I can just take a nap right here while I'm cooking the roast duck. I don't know what people ate back then.
Pancakes.
Oh, pancakes, of course. Roast pancakes. I have one question. Is that the original toilet in there?
No.
No? Are you sure?
Not the 1880s. This was rebuilt in the 20s.
Oh! But I was so excited to think that the... Oh, it's blocked?
I can't open it.
Oh, the one thing you don't have the key to is this? I was so excited to see the presidential throne.
It's the president's master bedroom here. You get a lovely, luxurious twin size.
Yeah, look at that. This is what 1880 luxury looks like, Tyler.
It's a little claustrophobic.
Can you back up, please?
Yeah, it's a little.
Just back up a little.
It's a little claustrophobic. It's a little claustrophobic.
Just trying to see the other part of the train. Okay. Wait, Travis, so this is another pull-down bed right here? You can have a little meeting down here, do your business, and then go home and sleep well.
If you're the president and you want to shut out those peasants over here so you can have your suite to yourself, just shut off this door and then you can pull out beds here.
Pull out beds up here? Oh, no way. Dude, Look at that. May I lay down upon this, Travis? Oh, yeah. So this is where Snoopy sleeps at night. So this was the Will Smith style RV of its day, dude. Yep. That's crazy. This is a pretty fancy chair, worthy of a president, but I'm pretty sure this wasn't the president's chair. It was probably this chair, the one that's just for looking, not for sitting. Dude, that was so cool. We just got a private tour of some of the most exclusive stock at Knott's Berry Farm, and look at all these people who were looking at us when we were doing it. Now I feel a little guilty. Time to go hide out at the roundhouse. All right, we are going to cruise past the guest train because the park is now open and people are all over this place, which means we have the perfect opportunity to come back and check out the roundhouse. Hey, wait a second. This house isn't round at all. You lied to me, Travis. Oh well, it may not be round, but it is awesome. Look at the size of that locomotive. Wow. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be loco for locomotives after this for the rest of my life. So tell me what this is, Travis.
This is Denver and Rio Grande Western number 340, built in 1881. She's the sister locomotive of number 41, and she's in here getting some maintenance.
So this is the train that used to be called the Gold Nugget, and now it's the Green River. Correct. And you guys do all your own maintenance in here, right? You Correct. Don't send out the stuff to get rebuilt. You physically have to help rebuild the train and drive the train. Yep. Which other theme parks don't get to do, right? Nope. So this is where you get your hands dirty.
With real engineering.
Real train work right there. Look at that. There she is on the wall right there, all decked out as Gold Nugget. And here she is today. I talked about how they used to have different paint schemes back in the day. But I haven't told you why they repainted them all the historic colors. Why was that? Why did you do that?
We like accuracy.
Yeah. They've set all the old trains back to a much more historically accurate type of painting style. They took off the inaccurate Hollywood movie diamond stacks. Must have made the rail fans very happy. You guys get a lot of train nerds in here. They're like,
we do. Yes. They want to come in and get some real train history.
Yes. Look at this. They got this all rigged up in here. They are actually running that engine on natural gas, dropping the wheels, doing repairs. I heard, is this true, that there's actually an engineer position open right now? Like they're trying to hire for this department? That's crazy.
Bring
you can come here and not just learn how to drive it like me.
Fix it
like a pro. You can fix it. The guys who work for the Knott's Berry Farm Roundhouse are very, very passionate about their job, and as you can see, they're also very passionate about the history of this railroad as well. They've got all kinds of artifacts of their train cars and the locomotives actually running out here. Look at that's the one I drove. All kinds of historic pieces of memorabilia out here. So you guys aren't kidding around. You're seriously into trains.
Love them.
Ah, look at that. The old ghost town and Calico Railroad down there under the Galloping Goose. And check out that old picture of it along that trestle. This is wild, you guys. This isn't just summer job at the amusement park for these guys. This is some serious, hardcore passion. I mean, they're learning basically how to take these things apart and rebuild them, how to operate steam locomotives. I'm pretty impressed. I can barely make my bed. Wow. That is impressive. Look at this. Not only are they capable of repairing their locomotives, they've also got a workshop out here to repair their rolling stock. Look at this. They're restoring this old 1880s rail car with wood and imagination and brawn.
Not only do we have to run our own equipment and keep that in good working order, we also have to repair our track as well.
Dude, this is epic right here. Next time you ride on Knott's Berry Farm's Railroad, I want you to remember, this is not just amusement park stuff for show. This is the real deal. And look at this, to prove it, they've even got the old hand cart. You didn't get to ride the locomotive, buddy, but I want you in on this with me.
Okay, let's do it.
It don't get more old west than that. Yes, sir, it doesn't get any better than Knott's Berry Farm. From the horse and buggy to the iron horse, and even some galloping geese, Knott's Berry Farm has got it all. Now all that's left to do is actually ride on the train as passengers. Ooh, look at this. Here we go. Oh, here we go. It's not the driver's seat, but it's a lot less hot, let me tell you. Hey, sir, shouldn't you be driving?
No, it's automatic.
The train? Oh, okay. Oh, it's automatic. Man, they made that conversion quick. Ha! Look at them suckers going a horseback and by a carriage. Don't they know the iron horse is superior? Them's gonna be riding in the desperate days, and we'll be 2 days to Tukum carry.
Hey, look, man, we got stuck in a seat together.
Yes?
There was no other seats.
Nope.
I'm getting off the stop after you, so if you could just...
Okay, personal space, I understand. Ah, we've commenced to moving. Bye-bye. Wave goodbye to all the people out there in Calico Square. Wait a minute. I saw a suspicious lady out there.
No,
At least I think I did. Oh, you're probably right. It's probably fine. Oh! Oh! I knew it! I knew it! I told you I saw a suspicious lady. That was her.
No.
I lost my gun. Can I use yours?
Well, she doesn't have a gun. We're okay.
Okay, we're fine.
Okay.
Point your finger like a gun. Well, I can't do that. Why not? Because my mama told me it's not polite to point. Did you hear that? She said her mama told her. Well, guess what? We're train robbers and we ain't gotta be polite.
See the train robbers. I've got my money right here. Money. Oh. They didn't want the money. They probably knew it was fake. Oh well. Woo. We got off pretty easy that time. Ooh, look at that. The Shadowlands maze is going up. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not going to talk about Scary Farm in this video. This is the train video. Ah, look at this. We're passing the old roundhouse. And now, every time you guys pass it on the old railroad, you'll know what's in there. And they'll know the goose can gallop. Huh? All right. We're pulling back into the old depot, Tyler. Are our train days done now? Is this the end of our epic train-filled day? Nope, because there's one thing on the old train that we still haven't done. As much as I love riding in a typical train car, there is truly nothing quite like a great caboose. And Travis is gonna let us climb aboard. Hey, I just realized, not once the entire day have you said, all aboard? Is that all aboard? Okay, there we go. Oh, yeah, look at this. This is the nicest caboose I've seen all day. Whoa, holy cow, look at this. This seems like our lucky day, Travis. Don't tell anyone about this, okay? Get out of here. We're gonna split this. All right, look at this. We get to ride up top. If I can climb up top without breaking my neck, or the historic caboose with the braking and the foot. Woo! I did it, boys!
Look, man, it just takes practice.
Oh, sure. Dude, look at this!
This was the conductor's office in the railroad for a freight train, so because he got no passengers to take care of, just sit back here, do his paperwork, keep track of everything on the train.
So that's what our cabooses are for. For paperwork. Look at this. This is amazing, dude. This is party central. Got a sink and a bathroom and a stove and a little desk to do your writing and a fake Tyler and this guy. Check this out. There's a window up here and no screen. Oh. I think we've started to move again, Tyler. I like to move it, move it. This is so weird. Look how different it is with people here and all the rides have come to life. This is the best seat in the house. There's a window here for ventilation or if you have to use the bathroom in an emergency. And check this out. Look at what we get to do. Hi. Hello out there, berry farmers. How are you doing down there? Hello. Hello. Did you hear that? A kid told me I was cool out there. Whoa, who's driving this thing? Dude, look at this window up here. This is the best seat in the house. If I ever go anywhere by historic steam railroad, I want a seat in the caboose. How you guys doing in here?
Fantastic.
You like it?
Super comfortable.
Dude, better than the engine, right?
Cooler.
I mean, yeah.
You got air conditioning.
Literally cooler. Ah, window. This is radical. I want to stick my head out, but you gotta keep your hands, arms, and legs, and heads inside the train. Uh-oh. They might have figured out what we were doing, guys. Look at that. We're being followed. Darn berry farmers. I think this is officially the coolest day I've ever had. I love riding up in this caboose. Although it's kind of jerky and bumpy, right? I think I drove the locomotive a little better than whoever's up there right now. Come on.
More experience.
Wait a minute. If you're down there and you're up here, who's driving this thing? Dude, that is so cool. Riding in an old caboose. Just dangling your legs, jumping down gracefully. And I'm not gonna lie to you, the best part was looking out the window and waving at all the people who were wondering, why does he get to ride in the caboose? Well, there's a very simple answer to that, kids. I have no idea, but I like it. All right, our ride on the train is officially over. Time for us to hop on down and say goodbye to the old ghost town and Calico Railway. This has been one epic and one amazing experience. I really got to thank Travis over here, as well as all the other engineers, firemen, mechanics, all the train people got involved to make this happen, as well as some of the other people at Knott's Berry Farm. I really want to thank them for letting me put all of their lives in danger over here, especially Brett up there, who was my partner driving the locomotive, and Brandon back here. These guys do an incredible job. They're always working, like continuously working. I could never pull off what they do. And not only did they show us a very good and very safe time today, but they have kept this historic railroad going. And somewhere up there, I think Walter K., you know, the real one, Walter Knott, knows it. And he's probably pretty stoked. All right, goodbye, number 41. I don't know the next time I'll be allowed to touch her. But from now on, I'll always have a special place in my heart for the only gigantic, massive, fully armed and operational steam locomotive I've ever driven. As a memento of that one time I was a train engineer, they've actually given me this Knott's Berry Farm Ghost Town and Calico Railroad shirt. Which reminds me, before I go, there's one more thing I've got to get. Remember a couple of weeks ago when we were looking at all the merchandise? Well, I noticed that day they sell something in here. All the way in the back under that model train. The Ghost Town and Calico Railway Engineer's hat. Snoopy, I've got to get one of these. Normally, I wouldn't buy and wear something like this. But you know what? Darn it, today, I've earned it. All right, guys, our time here in Ghost Town and Calico Railway is officially over. All that's left for you to do is check out all the links down below. We got swag, we got Instagram, we got all kinds of stuff. As for me, though, I've already done my duty. I'm going home to sleep well. See you guys later. Bye-bye. Trains. They're so hot right now. This is crazy. I feel partially deaf now.
Yeah, definitely. My left ear is really, well, I touched something immediately and my hand was greasy and then I started putting it all over my ear.
Yep.
Now I got grease in my ear.
Right. Grease on your skin, grease in your soul. Working on the railroad all the live long day. I've been working on the railroad just to pass the time away. And to hear the something, right under it into something, and to hear the captain shouting, won't it take below your horn? Someone in the kitchen with diners, someone in the kitchen I know. Someone in the kitchen with diners, strumming on the old banjo and singing fee-fi-filly-I-oh, fee-fi-filly-I-oh, fee-fi-filly-I-oh. What are you doing in my kitchen, boy? Strumming on the old banjo.